I know the matches have caught the attention of many, but it's not just because of the thrilling rugby action. It's also because of the unique incorporation of musical performances. You have theme nights like Yacht Rock Night, which I see the sign for behind you, and performances from talented bands like Old Crow, Medicine Show. And it's definitely elevated the match experience. Can you tell me about the inspiration behind merging music with these rugby matches?
Yeah, there's probably two pieces to that. There's three pieces. One is probably more selfish. If I'm going to commit to a day of hanging out, whether that's with my family or with old college buddies, what does that day want? What do I want in that day? Mm-hmm. And that's really good food. That's affordable. That's really good craft beer. That's affordable. That's this amazing sport on the field. That's highly dramatic, awesome. And then that's listening to really good music, right? Whether that's the nostalgia piece to it, or it's up and coming, or it's just awesome music. Either way, that is a perfect day. So selfishly, that's kind of like one box. Rugby in itself is not going to sell because people don't know it. It's not going to be like, oh, come check out the rugby. And this has been the issue probably with rugby in the United States. People who are into it are really diehard about it. They ask their buddy, come watch the game with me. They're like, I'm not into it.
Yeah.
They don't really know it. But if you can say, well, come to the Frosé and Fromage Fest as part of Yacht Rock, and you can see Orleans after, they're like, oh, that sounds fun. At least, very least, I can do that. Or I can go to the International Beer Fest, and I can see Crash Test Dummies. Okay, cool. So I have something that I can anchor around that's outside of the rugby. And then what we find is a lot of those people then come, and they're like, yeah, amazing festival experience. Love that. Love the music. Love the beer fest. But now I love rugby too. Mm-hmm. And that's an awesome piece to it. And then beyond that, I think music, sport, and like good food is this thing that brings people together. And that's really magical. And so for us, if you go back to the core of why we're doing this in the first place, that's music is a key component to bringing community together.
And this is the unconventional thing, correct? There aren't many other rugby teams that are doing this.
No, yeah. I mean, you hear in sports, every once in a while people combine a band or something, and that's not a new endeavor. It's probably the combination between all three of those pieces. I'd say probably four as well, because we do a lot of community events leading up to during the day that there's kids rugby or some other sport being played, or marching bands, showcases. But then everybody gets to partake in this great kind of foodie festival type vibe, watch great rugby, and then listen to great music. We also have a brass band. That's the Free Jacks brass band, by the Reuben brothers, and they're awesome. And they're up in the tailgating lots, and you can smell the barbecue everywhere. And then people come in, and there's fireworks, and it's just a really cool overall feel. I think that package is something that's really, really compelling, and it's accessible still. You can come on the red line, you can walk, 5 minutes off of public transportation. There's free parking. You can buy a $5 beer if you want. Like it's not out of the realm of possibility, and nothing against, the big sports in the United States. They're awesome, and those experiences are fantastic. But literally, it was at the Red Sox game the other day, and it was $22 for a beer, right? Yeah. So it's not something that you can repeat across a lot of different socioeconomic levels on a consistent basis. And for us, that's really important, is that accessibility piece.
I mean, that's something that's really huge too, because you talked about accessibility, and that, supersedes a cheap beer. It truly is accessible from a public transportation standpoint, and the free parking is really huge, because those are little costs to some, but huge costs that actually prohibit people from actually making the game because they can't even afford to get there. So that's really cool that you're doing it that way.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean, we definitely, it's magic, actually. I think that's it's really cool to see people experience it for the first time, and then the game ends. They're walking out on the field where they just saw basically these gladiators playing, and now they're shaking hands with them, and that's a huge part of the accessibility. I mean, they're just good people, and they're hanging out with the opposition, and they have a meal together. That's a very rugby tradition, break bread together after the match. And then they're listening to great music, and kids are running around kicking the ball, and parents are dancing with their, it's just really cool.